Hey there, I'm Rannie, and welcome to the B-side. All right, you're probably wondering what the B-side is. Well, today we are going to be talking about um, behind the scenes of this channel, about the podcast, kind of the content that I've been creating, my YouTube journey. The B-side's also a spot where we'll talk about maybe some news or some interesting things around the vinyl community that might be interesting to you to hear about, and um, and it's really a chance for me to kind of chat with you guys one on one. So I've been on YouTube now for just over 3 weeks. I've posted 3 podcast episodes already. Unfortunately, we missed this week. I'm sorry, but I did have guests aligned to shoot. Unfortunately, our schedules did not align to shoot in time to get a podcast out this week. I do have the next podcast recorded now as of today, so that'll come out next week. So look out for that. It's a good one. We actually have a live performance on that podcast, so that's pretty exciting. When I started the podcast, it was something I wanted to do for quite a while now, since before the pandemic. And as I thought about what I wanted this to be, originally it was just going to be like a audio podcast, and I think there will be an audio version of the podcast that will be coming out. But someone suggested I need to do video, so then that was on my thoughts, and that kind of made me drag my legs a bit more. And time has passed, pandemic, etc., etc. But we are here. I've got the ball rolling, and yes, we got it going. So right now I'm kind of focusing in on building the YouTube side of things, getting the podcast up and running, getting guests lined up. Right now, it's I was at first I was playing a game of catch up, doing you know week to week interviews, trying to get ahead of the curve. So I do have a lot of those guests, feature guests, pending booking and already confirming that they will be on the show. So that's pretty cool. And when I first started the YouTube channel, I thought it was just going to be strictly, hey, here I'm throwing up podcast videos and that's it. And I'm sure I could pretty much grow a channel that way, but it would probably be a very long and slow growth. So I have created other little bits of supplementary content to go on the channel as well. We do have our extended play series, which is 10 to 20 minute videos about topics relating to vinyl adjacent. I have a few ideas on a couple of those videos that will be coming up soon. Just need to kind of get them shot and edited. I also have the 1 minute review series, which has been pretty interesting. Literally, me kind of talking about uh, history of some of the records in my collection here, uh, all in the time span of 1 minute. So generally, I kind of give you guys a background of like how it did, blah blah blah. Maybe if there was controversy around the record, and then a little anecdote, a personal anecdote from me on why I love that record, or um, something quirky that happened to me during that time. So those are the series that you've seen already, hopefully. Um, there is now the B-side, which is our behind the scenes and personal catch up video that will also become like a weekly thing, I think. And the other idea I had was my 10 vinyl. So kind of, your typical kind of top 10 lists, uh, depending on themes and whatnot. But this would be a bit different in terms of they're not necessarily a top 10, but it would be a my 10. So I guess it's my own personal top 10 list of vinyl. At the end of the day, when I wanted to create this channel, I wanted to have the focus be on the collector and the journeys that we go on and that we're going on together. And, those stories that we have in these adventures of collecting vinyl. It's the thrill of the hunt, finding that grail, um, or just learning about different music that have inspired us through the years, or have gotten us through hard times, or happy times, or um, whatever times. Music is a very powerful thing, um, and I think we all have something interesting to share. We all have a voice, and I want to hear your voice. I've asked a couple of people to be guests, and there have been a couple times where they've said to me, "Oh, no one wants to hear about my collection," or I'm not qualified to talk," or blah blah blah. And I'm not looking for guests that are experts on a certain artist, or uh, experts on the technicalities of vinyl or turntables or record players, blah blah blah. Like I said, I want to hear your story. I want to be inspired by the music that you love, because sure, we might have some things that are the same, but you know, of the guests I've spoken to so far, inevitably there will be records that I haven't even heard of, which sound interesting, and um, which is exciting to kind of grow my own um, awareness of different albums and different artists. So that's where I'm going with the channel and the podcast. Um, if you love any of the content you've seen so far, please engage with it. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I think most importantly, if you really like any of the content, share it with a friend. I'm not saying post it on your social media. I'm actually saying slide it into their DMs. I think that might be the best way to get them to click, as opposed to just announcing it to the broader audience. I would love to hear if you guys have any content that you would like to see. I actually do have a survey for vinyl collectors. I'm going to put that in the description below. Earlier this week, was it this week? Maybe late last week, we had announcements from Record Store Day, which is pretty cool. Usually around this time, we start to hear about the ambassador announcements, and which means that the Record Store Day list is not too far behind. So that's pretty exciting. I know Record Store Day Canada uh, announced that the Tragically Hip would be the ambassadors for Canada, and they'll be pressing a live album of theirs. And in the States, Paramore is going to be the ambassadors, I believe. I'm not sure. I don't remember what their release was. What do you think of these ambassadors? Do you think it's important for Record Store Day to have these ambassadors? Is Record Store Day even something that you think is still relevant now? I know when Record Store Day first started, it was the industry's way of trying to get us interested in records again. Because there was a decline, there was this big gap. And now we're at a point where records are outselling CDs. I believe last year records outsold CDs on the retail side of things. So is Record Store Day still a good thing? And I know a lot of you guys probably have opinions on that. I know I've had some um, conversations with some of my followers about this already in my DMs. One of them actually suggested that I do a podcast episode where I have a panel of guests and we debate about all these things I'm talking about right now, which could be a very controversial conversation. That is everything I wanted to talk about this week. These B-side episodes are going to be a regular thing, at least at the beginning. From the creator side of things, it's it's nice to at least feel like I'm bouncing ideas off of you guys. So hopefully you guys will comment below and let me know. Secondly, I'm finding that the more content I create, it's a good way for me to be a bit more comfortable talking on screen. I'm trying to kind of figure out, I want to be a little off the cuff. At the same time, I want to be scripted because if I don't have a script, then I spend half my time kind of thinking about all the things that I wanted to make sure that I added into the video. And I end up getting a little frazzled and lost and blah, blah, blah. And like, and I don't want that. But I'm sure as we go on this journey and we move forward on this journey, uh, that will come and that will just get easier. So I'm excited for when that happens. Anyways, that's it for this week. Hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day, and I guess we will see you on the flip side.